Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
I know some people at Kansas were upset. We can tend to be a prisoner of the moment when it comes to selecting game day sites. You go to Appalachian State, it's off the beaten path. You get an unbelievable scene, and you think, where's another off the beaten path place to go the following week? Anyway, I digress. You got to wait a little bit. You've got to earn it a little bit more to get game day to come to Larrytown.
The offense is Andy Reid's baby, but Eric Bieniemy does relay the plays, and I think in a lot of cases does call them. Andy Reid has emboldened him in that way.
Think about the teams that John Sherman referenced there. Cleveland, Tampa Bay, Oakland, and then said, I don't want to use that word churn, but it's what those teams do.
John Sherman comes from one of those teams, from Cleveland, from the Guardians. And this was a division to me this year. I see why 2 GMs have been fired, right? When this began, Detroit and Kansas City were trying to get much better. They got worse.
I thought going in, we'd finish in the top 15, I'd be happy. You know, if we got under 12th, I'd be really happy. So 11th was, I was happy with how we competed. I thought our gap was a little bigger than I wanted. We're heading in the right direction. We're getting some people back.
League and the team are both monitoring the storm and are prepared to make adjustments if necessary. Not out of the question, of course, that this game gets moved to a different location, as we've seen a couple times in the recent past when there have been issues like this.
Elliott to the left of Rush, first and goal, outside the 1. Snap back, Rush looking left, fade, slam, caught in one hand, touchdown Cowboys.
And he drives one deep down the right field line on the first pitch, right on down the line, and it hits the pole. 2-run homer, Matt Olson, and it's another homer for the Braves against Washington.
And welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Coming to you from the Mayo Money Management Studio. Steve Webster with you today for the Tuesday show. Also in tow, Mike Hesher. In studio is Mike Corson.
I'm in tow and he's in studio. What the?
You can take whatever you want from a big man, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Hey, fellas.
What's up?
Where's your sunglasses today?
I remembered my regular glasses.
It's sunny out, so we left them at home.
I can't win with you people.
Hey, on the show today, Mike Corson will be talking with former Great Bend resident and KSN news anchor Jason Lamb. What are we talking to the news guy about?
KSN.
So, loyalists. So he was up in Kansas City for about 16 years, kind of covering the golden years up there, World Series runs, All-Star games, the birth of Patty Mahomes. So I think we're just going to... Not
Patty Mahomes? His mom was coming down on you hard.
So that's
she a listener, huh?
Well, let's hope so.
Cole Reif, voice of the Hoiston Cardinals, will be in today. We'll talk about that big game coming up Friday night in Hoisington. The Pratt Greenbacks.
The Frogs.
Against the Hoisington Cardinals. Nothing tougher than a junkyard frog. Okay? Never forget that. Also, Stafford Trojans, they're off to a 4-0 start this year. Mitch Engelken.
I mispronounced it during Trading Post.
It's kind of, it rolls off the tongue, but we'll talk with Mitch today about the Trojans 4-0 start. You know he's a Baileyville B&B?
I did not know that.
He's a graduate from Baileyville B&B. I want to know how that went. You know, we may talk more about that, you know, and how that went in. Now they're part of Nemaha Central. Yeah.
I wonder if he was the guy who yelled at me when I was wearing shorts in November. Definitely Baileyville.
What year was that?
When Central Plains was running the show, so Baileyville was over. It's been quite a while since I've seen Baileyville.
I remember the Pratt coaches all in shorts, like in the coldest game I ever shot for KSN. They were all in shorts. It was cold in Pratt that night.
It's good to know.
I was stalling while you tried to read what you needed to know.
He holds the single game record for the 8-man All-Star game, a 251 yards rush. I guess so. 2012, something like that. We'll ask him. Yeah, how about that? How cold was it in Pratt that night?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Snow was flying. I had 2 or 3 layers on.
Okay. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. Reese Davis addressing the decision by ESPN to not have College Game Day in Lawrence last week and using his colleagues Lee Corso's favorite line. Not so fast, my friend.
Where was College Game Day?
Went to Tennessee. See, that was a big talk, Oh, we got Duke in there. They're, Duke and KU, they're basketball powers. Now they're playing undefeated, and we need to have them here. Well, I don't know. Florida, Tennessee's a pretty good place to go.
It's too early.
They were at Appalachian State earlier, so people thought, well, if they're going to Appalachian State, they ought to come out to KU.
I watched that Appalachian just because the campus out there is unbelievable. So it was kind of cool. They went to a small school and got out of the SEC. Would have been cool to come to Lawrence. It's a beautiful campus.
I think you were on the trail when you were trying to walk to Appalachian State when you nearly died on the
Reese, give me a ride home on Thursday.
Anyway, the ESPN boys aren't going to be there Saturday either. Iowa State is in town. Iowa State travel's good. There'll be plenty of red and gold or maroon and gold or whatever the official colors are from Iowa State as those two teams play. That's going to be a 2:30 game. That's what the ESPN2. K-State plays at 11 against Texas Tech.
Another full day of football.
Absolutely. Jeremy Fowler talking about Andy Reid said it wasn't that big a deal, but he said he wanted to see where this goes. Who's calling the plays? Is there a rift maybe between Patrick Mahomes and Eric Bieniemy? I don't know. He's going to watch it. We need to finish the first half better.
They've made a lot about a little, which is our job. But why don't they just game manage a little bit? If you're up by 30, don't run the play.
Well, that's what he said. There's plenty of other things you can look at for the Chiefs losing. I don't think that was the thing. But it's just the dynamic of a team and where, Eric Bieniemy's position is in all of this.
And why hasn't he gotten a head coaching job?
Yeah.
That's kind of the speculation is maybe he doesn't get along well with people.
Possibly. Maybe he doesn't know as much as he usually would. Wow.
Oh, now you can do it. Okay. Okay.
Wow, you're pointing on camera? Woo. Okay, we haven't really... Did you guys address the Royals on Friday that much?
We had a big chat.
We did this past week because of the firing of Dayton Moore. We disagree on,
Right, because I wasn't here, and then we have Monday and everything. But,
Mike thinks Dayton is being the scapegoat, and I don't know how you can consider somebody after 16 years being a scapegoat.
Jason Stark, MLB Network, talking about the Royals organization heading in a new direction, maybe a more impatient direction under John Sherman.
He wants to win.
To go to your point.
Yes.
Dan O'Dowd, former MLB general manager, he's also on the network. Sherman's from Cleveland. He sees the Guardians, and if you couldn't win this year in the AL Central...
God, no kidding.
Maybe the White Sox GM, they're laying an egg right now. Time to sweep it out.
Well, you think about how bad Kansas City's been, they're not even last in the division. That's tough.
I think, let's see what J.J. Piccolo does. He wants sustainability. I mean, winning a World Series is great. Going to 2 straight, hadn't been for some left-handed pitcher, the Royals would have won 2 straight World Series titles. But you can't just go, and Jason Stark's saying he held on to those guys too long.
And he might have. I don't know the inner workings. I don't know what kind of budget they gave him.
And I wouldn't have signed Eric Hosmer to as much as he got. I wouldn't have signed Mike Moustakas to that big deal. Alcides Escobar hardly ever played again. You going to sign him to a big deal? I just want some sustainability. You can do that, and sometimes you got to roll those guys out, like Oakland.
Churn, I believe, was the word they used.
Churn is a word.
Yes. So look what we're doing now. We got a great farm team, and we're probably going to get rid of those guys in 2 years instead of paying them if they pan out. Look what they've made the World Series. We had Jeremy Guthrie and Chris Young, and he turned those guys into World Series pitchers. It's unbelievable that he recognized something was in these washouts, and they kind of rejuvenated their stardom in Kansas City.
Well, right, but when you're picking off the leftover table, sometimes you come home and you're saying, man, look at these brand new jeans I got. These things are nice. But a lot of times you're going to get these guys, well, I wanted
Carlos
them to work
Santana?
out, but then they rip out in the back as soon as you get them.
But did Daddy Glass take him to Dillard's, or was he making him shop at Goodwill?
Goodwill.
So, I think
where are they going to shop? Is are you going to go with an unlimited credit card? Okay, I mean,
But look how much money they made in 3 years up there. Spend some of it back in the program. My whole point is loser program until Dayton comes in. We win a World Series
16 years.
A couple years after he
16
years.
years.
In.
He
They
came in
stunk.
2006, and it wasn't 2013.
He came in 2006
Yeah.
and 7-8 years to get him just to contend, and then they got up there, but then it goes away, and it's
Steve and I think alike on this one. This is shocking.
you and me, man. It's you and me.
Oh, that's
you
right.
and me.
We're
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
like this.
Well, then bring in new blood. Don't hire his right-hand man. What's the difference?
That will be the interesting tale for me. Is what
Well, if his right-hand man operates like the left-handed man, then
he won't be there long.
I want Theo Epstein. Give me his number.
just open up the checkbook. Theo, come on in. We got money rolling all around here.
They got Patrick Mahomes as the owner.
Hey,
surely.
we had 1.2 million fans go through the gate this year. Boy, we're just rolling it in right now. There's cash flowing.
lowest since 1975, other than the pandemic year, I believe I read.
It's the only place where supply and demand goes the opposite way. Nobody's in the parking lot, so prices they double.
To pay these players that you're bringing in.
Dozier, he's
Oh, there you go. Talk about loyalty.
O'Hearn? Yeah.
O'Hearn. There's loyalty right there.
Jeez.
get this guy a blood pressure cuff.
128 over 70 last week. I'm okay.
Lyles Lashley, you heard him. The great Cajun chef. He's also a pretty good cross-country coach. Talking about their finish up at Rimrock this weekend. They will run Saturday, I believe, at Lake Afton. That's where Bishop Carroll hosts their meets. Dan Graziano. I didn't check the tweeter machine. Have they decided to change the location? Why don't they play in Kansas City? Where are they going to move the game? Just play in Kansas City. We'll make it up. We'll go to Tampa Bay next 2 times they're supposed to go there.
Given how the NFL works, that's Sunday night's premier game. They're not going to want to move it off that slot. Find a spot.
But if you're the executive producer for NBC Sports right now, you're saying, "Come on, boys, make a move,
decision,
make a move. I've got trucks moving. I've got it."
The Rays got a junky little closed-in arena down there. Let's put some lines on the field.
We're going to play at Tropicana Field.
You are in rare form today, Mike Corson.
Even when there was a hurricane, the Superdome wasn't the safest place to play.
Correct.
So I don't know if you want to go in there. Tropicana Field, that thing would just roll over on its side. It'd be like a big bowl going down the street. Everybody inside just tumbling around.
If you rolled Tropicana Field on its side, would orange juice come out?
He is on a roll today, folks. Okay,
after
next.
this
All
morning's
right.
comment.
The call, Brad Sham, the call on 105.3 The Fan. C.D. Lamb makes a one-handed grab for a touchdown. By the way, Brad Sham's the best play-by-play guy around. Cowboys win 23-16 over the Giants last night. And Matt Olson homered to right, scored Austin Riley in the top of the 4th inning. Braves beat the Nationals 8-0. That thing's coming right down to the end. One of the only contested races as far as division. Mets and the Mets and the Braves. Sunday night baseball right here on 1590 KVGB, the final game of that weekend series. Shameless plug, isn't it?
Kevin Harlan? You thinking Brad Sham was better than Kevin Harlan?
Okay, you're right. Okay, I'll take that. Yeah.
Gary
Sham's up there.
I'm not going to argue. That was a great call.
Yeah.
But Kevin Harlan is Kevin Harlan.
Yeah, well, he's up here. I mean, I'm talking about all the other guys.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. There we go. Sounds the past 24 hours or so. Sports headlines today. Don't look at your watch. We'll get there to your boy. Come on. Barton volleyball last night, losing in 4 sets to Hutch. 20-25, 25-19, 20-25. 23-25. Barton back at home tomorrow night to take on Garden City. Is Aaron Judge, could he go the rest of the season without getting the tying home run?
Anything's possible.
I would like that.
He's going to go for the batting average now so he can get the Triple Crown.
He still hasn't got it. He didn't get it last night. So there you go. And Texas Tech. Did I say Saturday night was wild?
Yes.
In Lubbock? $50,000 reprimanded by the Big 12 Conference because fans stormed the field following an overtime victory against rival Texas. They're insane down there.
Did they do anything?
They pushed that big fella in the back. I mean,
Does he get the money?
They should take all that money and give it to all the fans that ran on the field and share the wealth. Mm-hmm. Share the wealth with everybody.
My buddy played at KU, and I remember storming the field there.
Did you tear the goalpost down?
I believe somebody did. I seem to remember them walking it up the hill and putting it in the pond.
Oh, and Bill's offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey's not going to apologize for the tantrum he had in the press box the other night, so he's not going to apologize. That's
Who'd they beat when they stormed the field? Do you remember?
I don't. I was thinking it was Missouri, but it was somebody they hadn't
Maybe
beaten.
K-State.
We went to several of them, so I don't know.
Well, if it was K-State, you probably remembered it because they only beat them like...
I will throw this out there. He gave us tickets because he was a player, and I would wear my K-State gear. And then the lady at the gate says, "You know who gave you these tickets, don't you?" And I pulled out my pocket Constitution, Steve, and I told her I can wear what I want.
I stuck my hair up under my hat, and I went in to ask him why. Yeah, you just...
Sign.
Mike Corson, he's going to be talking with Jason Lamb coming up here on Sports Day. What are we doing with the video right now? What's changed?
We are working on live streaming.
Oh, my God.
Karina's over there live streaming because we understand the frustration that everybody's having with us getting Sports Day on GreatBendPost.com, and Mike Corson is the number one frustrated, but we're working on something different because of that wasn't working.
We're radio guys. You're the TV technician here, so...
And I probably will be doing more video as we move along here.
You're odd. Oh, really? So...
Well... Karina can't be in here all the time.
I spend all that time powdering this head, and you guys don't put me on TV.
We'll talk to a TV guy coming up next.
One of the great advantages about online classes is you can take them anywhere. I would sit in my room, still in my robe from waking up, and I just try to focus on my classes. From Barton, I kind of took a range of classes from accounting, history, and I took PE1 and PE2 through Barton. They transferred pretty incredible. It helped save money, and it helped save some time, too. Just to think that you can live really anywhere and take these classes, I think it's pretty cool.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
Hi, my name is Dalton Jones, a patient that I helped. She came in with chronic back pain that she'd been having for years. After several weeks of showing her exercises, several different interventions, we were able to get her back to where she can do her shopping without leaning on the shopping cart at all.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
At People's Bank and Trust, we look forward to helping you through the many stages of life. From your first checking account to your retirement account, we've helped generations of families buy their first home, finance their vehicles, and plan for the future. People's Bank and Trust delivers safe, sound, and reliable banking. Let us put our experience to work for you and your family. If you're looking for more from your bank, we invite you to see the People's Difference. People's Bank and Trust. Relationships matter. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Hey folks, this is Trey Bergen with Ag 360 Insurance in St. John. We are an independent agency offering several types of insurance, including crop, farm, irrigation, business, personal, and life. We would appreciate an opportunity to earn your business. Feel free to stop by our office at 103 East 4th Avenue in St. John, or give us a call at 620-549-3579. You can also check us out online at ag360insurance.com.
Hey, you want to hear some good news? Venture Corporation is still hiring for laborers, flaggers, equipment operators, CDL A and B drivers, and mechanics. And if you're ready to make some money, call Leslie at Venture. Thought about getting your CDL? Venture will train the right candidate. Higher starting wages, on-the-job training, excellent benefits, and you get paid for traveling throughout the state. Venture Corporation on South Highway 281 in Great Bend is an equal opportunity employer. Venture Corporation, homegrown, family-owned.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson. Today, a special guest out of Wichita. He's a 1990 Great Bend High School graduate, went to Barton Community College and the University of Kansas, worked at KHOK and ESPN and news stations in Topeka, Lawrence, and Kansas City. Now at KSN in Wichita. Welcome, Jammin' Jason Lamb.
Hey, thanks. Are you sure I'm not on the trading post?
Hey, that was earlier this morning, Jason.
Oh, okay. God, I love that show. I listen to that all the time when I was working for USD 428 when I was a kid back in the day in the summertime.
It's still going strong.
Awesome.
We're going to start you off. So you spent 16 years at KDAF, Fox 4 in Kansas City, and you got to see some of the biggest sporting events in really the city's history. So we will start with the 2012 All-Star Game, back before the Royals were really much good. How big was that for the city at the time?
Well, you know, I just feel like I was there what I call the golden years because, first of all, I was there for the growth of facilities. You know, the building of Kansas Speedway, the construction of Sprint Center, the revival of downtown Kansas City, the renovations to Kauffman Stadium and Arrowhead, and they renovated Kauffman, and they get the All-Star Game there, and Billy Butler's the All-Star, the lone All-Star, and it was our first taste of a big-time national event there for the Royals, and we all knew that the Royals were going to be good in the next few years. It was just a matter of when, and were they going to be good enough to win a pennant, you know, and so that was our really first taste of being on a national stage. And the weather was gorgeous for, you know, late July in Kansas City, and Kansas City put on a great show. Although I think the National League won that ball game, but you know, everybody went nuts for Billy Butler. Everybody loved Billy Butler, and it was just such a good time and a precursor of things to come.
And then talking about that, we'll jump ahead to 2014. You were at the wild card game. The Royals trail Oakland 7-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Where are you, and kind of what are you doing?
Well, I was in the press box, and you know, at one point I was thinking, "Oh my God, this is like the worst, most boring game ever." And they kept falling behind by 4, and it's like, "Oh, geez, they're going to blow this." John Lester's pitching. People are booing, you know, Ned Yost because he's putting Giordano Ventura in relief, and he gets beat around a little bit, and everybody's booing Yost, and it's like, oh my gosh, and then, you know, they keep coming up with the key hits to send it into extra innings, and then you get Salvi up there who was like 0 for the night, and he you know, now it's after midnight, and it's into October, so now all of a sudden the Royals are playing October baseball for the first time in 29 years. And he swings at a pitch that's completely out of the strike zone, and he makes contact, and he lines it past Josh Donaldson down that left field line. Place goes crazy. Royals win. You know, everybody's so excited. I wasn't prepared for what was next, which was the locker room celebration. You know, I didn't have a rain jacket or a parka or goggles or anything like that, and I went down into the clubhouse when they let the media in, and it was just a scene that I'd seen before, but I'd seen it in the visitors clubhouse when, like, the Detroit Tigers had clinched the division title, and we were asked to go over there and cover it for Detroit station. So that one wasn't near as fun, but this was almost out of this world. You know, for a Kansas kid to see the Kansas City Royals celebrating winning a playoff game and winning it in such dramatic fashion. And so, you know, you're walking around, you're just trying to stick your mic up in these guys' faces while they're celebrating and trying to ask questions or yell questions because it was so loud. And at one point, you know, I see Salvi, and I just kind of asked him, "Man, you did it. And about that time, he just turns towards me and starts dumping ice-cold champagne on the top of my head. And somebody caught video of this, and when I saw the video, he wasn't the only one. Yordano Ventura and Jason Vargas were behind me, also pouring it on me, and I'm losing my hair at this time, and so it's hitting me on my scalp immediately. There's no hair to block it, and then it's running directly down my face and into my eyes, so it's freezing cold and it's burning my eyes, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I can't believe this. And it was just one of those moments that I'm like, this is so crazy. And I still had a job to do, and so I got some answers, and I still have my credential from that night. It's one of my prized possessions. They gave all the media for that All-Star game just cardboard credentials. They weren't laminated, so they weren't protected. So I've got this little cardboard credential that is all ruffled up and crumbled up and soaked with champagne, and I keep it in a box so that I'll always have it. And it was turned out to be one of the greatest thrills of my life, was to be in the clubhouse that night.
And then the Royals go on, they sweep the Angels in 3. They go into the ALCS against Baltimore. That first home game, which was Game 3, was rained out, so I had tickets to that game and got to stay the extra night. And I remember driving around and everything was blue. Everybody was in a good mood. They're playing the Prince song remix for that year. How fun was it? Like you had said before, this was Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska coming together.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Just a second. You need in here? Yeah. Okay, come on in. So I was tucked away in a little audio booth for privacy here. You're right. The Kansas City television market is really unique in that it's split with that state line. You've got KU, K-State, Missouri fans, and the rivalry with KU Missouri is still alive. It's based in true history, so it makes it so real. But when the Royals did their thing, everybody came together. Everybody came together in blue, and they unified, and it was beautiful. And that is maybe the biggest takeaway I'll have from my 16 years there, or my 20 years living in Kansas City, was that period of time in 2014 and 15. It really was special.
And then on the other side of the parking lot, to change sports, you were also there when the Chiefs drafted Patrick Mahomes, and you kind of got to see him grow up. How about some of those experiences? Yeah. I was at the Chiefs draft party that night. Everybody thought that they were going to go after Deshaun Watson, and when they made the move to trade up, everybody in the room thought Deshaun Watson, yes. And so they picked Patrick Mahomes, and so there were some cheers. It was kind of mixed. There were some cheers, and there were others who were like, Deshaun Watson. And but some people identified him as well as being the guy, and it was fun. That first year, as he was just being tutored by Trent, or not Trent Green, but by Alex Smith. Alex Smith took him under his wing, and when we'd go out to the Chiefs locker room, on Wednesdays and Thursdays to get pregame sound, nobody gave any of the rookies, including Mahomes, any attention. He was just one of the guys in the background just shooting baskets. They have a basketball hoop in the locker room, and he was just one of those yardbirds in the background, just kind of screwing around. And everybody knew that this guy was going to eventually be the next quarterback. But at this time, this was Alex Smith's team, and he deserved all the attention, and he got it. And and then Mahomes got to start that last game in Denver, and then the questions started to abound. Now who's going to be the starter? And the Chiefs, took care of Reed and sent him off to a good situation in Washington.
he left on good terms, and he understood what was happening. And, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, Mahomes just transforms into this all-world quarterback, and it was on, and it was amazing. And, you know, they went from a decent team to a Super Bowl caliber team. And, you know, I was there for that AFC Championship game when they lost the flip, and the Patriots got it and won in overtime. And then I was there for the next AFC Championship game when they did win it. And I didn't go to the Super Bowls, but it was a lot of fun to after so many years of seeing some bad football and growing up a Chiefs fan in Great Bend, watching all these terrible teams in the 70s and 80s, to see him reach those heights was really a thrill.
And then real quick, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, you're getting soaked in the locker room. You're at these big games, but you do still have a job to do. You got to get that video back. Is that more hectic at Arrowhead than it might be somewhere else?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, a lot of times it's too late at night to get that video back. But it depends if you're doing a post-game show. And with the Royals, we were doing a live post-game show. So, you know, I'd go in the clubhouse. I wanted to see what was happening. Then I'd have to run outside and do a live shot. And I wanted to be able to tell people what was going on in the locker room. I didn't want to just stand out there and talk and not be able to say this is what's happening in there. But yeah, you know, it was crazy. It was just chaos. Everybody was shooting video and sending it back, and somehow trying to get it on the air. And some of it would make the air, and some of it wouldn't. And then we'd have to go back at night and try to make sense of everything that was shot. And you know, that's the thing about baseball is that it's every night. You're playing every night, and you know, after a day or so, all that sound you shot is old, and it's on to the next one. You know what I mean? So, as you know, in football, that sound you can use for several days. So yeah, that's definitely a challenge.
All right, busy man, Jason Lamb. So thanks for joining us from the studio in KSN.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be back. Hello to everybody in Great Bend. I had the thrill, or actually it was a thrill. It was the first time in 12 years I saw Great Bend play in a football game. I shot their highlights against Wichita Southeast, and they tore them up on Friday night. And I got about 2.5 minutes of their highlights on my Facebook page. Jason Lamb on Facebook. So if anybody wants to check that out, go right ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, Jason. More Sports Day after this.
Summer is here and we're bringing the heat. At Next Tech Wireless, you can get an iPhone SE 3rd Gen or the Samsung A53 on us. Or if you're looking for a little more, you can also get up to $529 off any other device, including the Samsung S22 Ultra or the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Come visit us at a location near you or call or text at 877-621-2600 for more information. Next Tech Wireless. We are Kansas.
GB Tires, the tire experts of Great Bend. GB. Generations of buyers come back time and again. GB. Out in the field, out on the road. GB Tires has the names you know. Like Bridgestone, Firestone, on GB you can depend. GB. With fast, friendly service like it's always been. Don't need an appointment, just bring it in. GB Tires, the tire experts of Great Bend.
Does it seem like you need a filling every time you go to see the dentist? Have you had your teeth fixed only to have them fall apart again? Would you like to avoid the dental merry-go-round for years to come? If you answered yes to any one of these questions, it sounds like you need a lifetime plan. At Central Kansas Dentistry, we will sit down with you to come up with the best solution to get you off the dental merry-go-round. Give us a call at 785-472-3803 so we can help you come up with a lifetime plan.
We got the skill to fix your grill.
He's the voice of Hoisington High School football, the Barton County Cougars, and the king of the tweeter machine. It's Cole Reif on Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Cole Reif joins us on Sports Day. Appreciate Jason Lamb joining us for the program, joining Corson for the program.
A lot of great bench celebrities.
Yeah, there are.
They're
Just all over the place.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so anyway, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I mean, like I said, I came in here, and you guys got 2 cameras set up now. You got security standing in the studio. Like every day, every week of the show is like upgrades and improvements. You got Steve Divis standing by. Like, I mean, it's just
there's a lot of traffic in here.
It's an impressive show.
You know, Hesh is. I've never seen him sweat before, but he is today. He's a little bit stressful.
All this video stuff for these radio guys.
All right, here we go. Halfway point of the season comes at halftime on Friday night.
That's right.
Yeah.
Week 5 going in.
Big one in Hoisington. Okay, Pratt, Hoisington. You looked at this game in July, and what do you think about the matchup and maybe what's changed now as you're just a few days away from Hoisington, Pratt?
I feel about the same probably as I did in July. Like I for one thought Pratt was going to be just as good as they were a year ago. When you talk about losing a guy like Enoch Walton, a lot of people, and it's some part of their offensive line. Defensively, they took a little bit more of a hit, but they had enough skill players coming back and enough of the O-line coming back that was like, there's a chance this Pratt team's probably going to be just as good as they were a year ago, especially considering it'll be the second year under the new system with the single wing in which they went to last year. Now, I remember Brent Holting, head coach for Pratt, mentioning the fact that, hey, we're not going to sneak up on as many people as we did a year ago with that new system, and that's really what it was in that Week 1 matchup at Pratt. It was like a perfect storm. I mean, Hoisington kind of deer in the headlight look with a lot of new guys in positions, turned the ball over 7 times in that ball game, and then Pratt just rolled through that. So maybe they aren't catching people off guard as much as they were last year, but they still have the talent, and I think they're just more familiar with that system. So, yeah, I think this is a very, very tall test. Easily the hardest game on the schedule for Hoisington. I was kind of thinking Heston, there for a while. Then Pratt went on and beat Heston 28-14 in Week 2. So, yeah, this is the team on the schedule this year, although it has no outcome for your district. It has no possibility of meeting up in the playoffs.
And you said that earlier, Cole. So the ramifications, what do we got here?
I think, if Hoisington can win this one, you talk about the confidence factor, obviously huge. If you could go out and win, I think even to a point, if you could go out and contend with Pratt. If you're in there and you're mixing it up and it's a tight game going into the fourth quarter, it slips away. I think from the outside, you want to win that game, obviously, but from the outside, you still feel pretty good if you're even able to hang there with the talented Pratt team over these last 2 years. But you win that ball game, and you're all of a sudden in the mix in Class 2A on the West. I mean, you're starting to get in talks. Now, no one's going to really look past Southeast of Saline as far as anyone dethroning them on their route to a state championship this year on the West side, but you at least get into that mix of the others. Because right now, there is absolutely no talk of Hoisington on the West side or even any type of contender in the top 10 right now. Most polls don't even have Hoisington in the top 10. And rightfully so. I mean, you lose that Week 1 game, no matter how you lost it, who you lost to, people want to wipe you off. I mean, after that, if you lose Week 1, that's tough. It's tough to bounce back from. And then you look, they've won 3 straight since then, but it's a Halstead team. They're 1-3 now. A Lions team, haven't won a game. Southwestern Heights team, 2-2, but talent isn't there in Southwestern Heights. So Hoisington has done nothing, although they have destroyed those opponents. I wrote down a stat. They've outscored their last 3 opponents 133-6 in the last 3 weeks. So they've only given up 6 points in the last 3 weeks. And they're sitting at 3-1, and no one's talking about them. Rightfully so. Like, those 3 wins shouldn't turn heads by any means. But you win this game, and all of a sudden, what's going on in Hoisington? If we're even able to contend. So I think that's a big game. And then Pratt obviously wants to get back on track.
43-21. A lot of people were picking Pratt to beat Cheney.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely included. I didn't even think it was going to be that big of a problem for Pratt, to be honest with you. So, yeah, so hats off to Cheney. Kind of overlooked them. Well, not kind of, definitely overlooked them for sure. So that was a solid win for Cheney. But this Pratt team really is the first half. I mean, they were down 21-0 at halftime. And then the second half, I think they played even with Cheney, minus 1 point. But they played even with Cheney in the second half. Turned the ball over 3 times. Hadn't had problems with turnovers the entire season. They got pinned inside the 1 yard line a couple times on punts. So, yeah, there are a lot of things that happened in that first half and even throughout the whole game that doomed Pratt in that contest. But Cheney obviously had the talent to back it up as well. So, yeah, that was a rare outing and a lot of rare outcomes for Pratt. So, yeah, they're going to be hungry to get back on track, and it's homecoming for Hoisington this Friday night. So yeah, should be good entertainment. I'm excited. This is obviously, like we said, the biggest game on the schedule for Hoisington this year. So to have it unfold now with a little bit of momentum, Hoisington's won 3 in a row. Pratt is showing maybe they're not completely unstoppable. They are human, losing last week. 2 3-1 teams. The rivalry continues, and in the back of the mind, like Hoisington's got to be thinking, although it's a new team, like they got beat by 50 points. That's unheard of. Like, I mean, I've seen some butt kicking.
Season was over.
Was over last year after week 1. Like it was like
questioning his toughness of his team. You know?
Yeah, I mean everything. I mean there was paint peeling off the walls after that. That Saturday film practice or film session last year. So yeah, I mean it was nuts. So to get that back, and here's the other thing that I'll bring up, and I'll bring it up on the broadcast. They lost by 50 last year, right, at Pratt? 68-18. CKL, it's a running clock after 35 points. Do you know what did not happen last year? There was no running clock in that second half of that ball game. Pratt, I don't know, scorekeeper or whoever was in charge said, keep it on pace, and man, it was rolling. Like Pratt won at that one. You could tell they won at that one, but I found it odd that I remember that vividly. There was no running clock in that second half, despite Pratt being up by, they were up 40-11 at halftime. And then they immediately tacked on a touchdown after that. So it should have been running like midway through the third quarter.
But I could see Zach saying no.
No, I mean, that's fine. If you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us. But like, I remember that. I know Zach remembers that. Hopefully the Hoisington players remember that. So
really? So they just kept the clock running and
they didn't run it at all. I mean, it was regular stoppage.
Yeah.
That's what. So. Yeah, you could just feel like that wasn't a long time coming, because I mean Hoisington beat him in 20, beat him in 2019, Pratt beat him in 2018 though, so it wasn't like it was a long time coming for them to get a win against Hoisington. But man, it felt like they unloaded in that ballgame.
Okay,
I'm excited. This is a big matchup, even though it has no say whatsoever on what happens for the playoffs.
Big boy game Friday night.
It is a big boy game.
Woo!
Elton Brand, and we haven't seen Hoisington at home for the last 2 weeks. Been on the road the last 2 weeks. It's homecoming. Yeah, I think fans will be juiced at Elton Brown.
Okay. Cool. Settle down, big man. You still got a few more days to go before Friday. Look forward to hearing you in the dock on Friday night on 100.7 Eagle Country.
Yes, sir.
All right, Cole Reif with us here on Sports Day. Going to talk some Stafford Trojan football with the head coach, former Baileyville B&B star, Mitch Engelken. That's next on Sports Day.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
If you're not filling with Cenex Premium Diesel, then you're not giving your fuel system the premium treatment. Cenex Roadmaster XL comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn, while restoring your power by up to 4.5% and your fuel economy by up to 5%. Typical number 2 diesel? I guess it covers the basics. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact the Great Bend Co-op Fuel Department, your certified Cenex distributor today. When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison and Great Bend.
H&B Communications in Holyrood knows that the internet can be a scary place these days. That's why H&B offers information technology services for business. From full network management and support to protection from intrusions and data loss and comprehensive training for your staff, H&B can design a business IT network to keep your data safe in our ever-changing cyber world. Find out more about information technology services by calling H&B Communications in Holyrood. Committed to connection.
Nobody protects you from mayhem in Georgia like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly, instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/auto-navigator.
Other banks go out of their way to make redeeming credit card rewards needlessly complicated, like how they require minimums or force you to use your rewards before reaching some arbitrary expiration date. But Discover isn't like that. With Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time, so you'll never have to jump through hoops. Unless you're like a trapezist, then by all means, go right ahead. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Stafford Trojans off to a 4-0 start. They're getting receiving votes in the K-Preps 8-man Division II poll. And the guy that's leading that program, first-year head coach for the Trojans, Mitch Engelken, with us here on the program. It's curling my tongue around, Coach. I'll try to make it roll off a little bit easier. Hey, thanks for joining us on the show today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I was going to say no problem. People mispronounce it all the time, so no problem.
Okay, so I don't know which to go first because found out that Baileyville B&B that was a pretty good program through the years. You're a graduate in 2012. What's that make you feel like? Be part of the tradition that Baileyville has across the state of Kansas in football lore, and you're from that program.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I would say it was definitely a great opportunity, and I say this all the time. Yeah, we were very successful, but we had just great parents, coaches, teachers. I mean, we just had a great community all around, and pretty religious, strong family there. Or I say family. I'm getting used to saying family. That's kind of our team motto this year. So I say that. I mean, we just had great kids. I mean, and I forget where I'm going with this. I apologize, but
no,
it was an excellent opportunity, and yeah, we were very successful. But like I said, we had great people all involved, as well as great athletes and who put in the work, and yeah, we turned out to be pretty successful. So,
how hard was it for the community when the doors closed for that final time in 2014?
It was definitely really tough. I mean, I still go back all the time. My dad actually worked at the high school for 20 years. He was the maintenance guy, and so me and my twin brother kind of grew up in the school building. And kind of a unique thing, my aunt, Lori Nehus, she taught high school social studies at Baileyville, and she actually got there probably in '84, and she even taught my dad. An interesting thing, I guess another one, would be my dad is actually a twin as well, so I had my aunt as a teacher, and she taught my dad, and so we kind of I had family within the school, and we were always involved, and then, yeah, when the school closed, it's definitely tough to see to go back, and it's used as a tech center for Highland Community College.
Okay.
But it definitely stinks to not see the facilities being used. You know, the football field doesn't look, you can barely tell it was a football field at this point. It's kind of sad to see, but no, it's tough. It was definitely tough, but it was a good merger between Seneca and Baileyville, and lots of kids. We were all good friends growing up anyway, so it worked out.
How did it feel to get 251 yards in the 8-man All-Star game?
Oh, I knew I still had that. Actually last year it was really close to being broken.
Yeah.
And I had seen it. I thought the kid from, I forget where he's from right now, Sedan, I believe. I thought he had broken it, but that must have been an unofficial stat because they said I still had it. But no, the thing about an All-Star game is usually you get 2 or 3 or 4 solid running backs, or athletes, period. And I was lucky enough, or whatever you want to call it. I was the only starting running back that really went into it. The other guys played defense. They didn't want to play offense. So I kind of got a lot more carries than you normally would in an All-Star game. But no, it's cool to see my name on there. I won't lie. But no, we had a great team and great coaches and really big offensive line. And I just ran the ball, so.
Yeah.
But no,
that's pretty cool. Mitch Engelken, our guest today, head coach of the Stafford Trojans, with us here on Sports Day. Mitch, why did the Stafford opportunity make sense for you to grab? I mean, you've been an assistant coach at some very successful programs, Solomon, Axtell, Osborne. What was the lure to go down and take over that Stafford program?
Well, I'll be honest, it was always a dream of mine to be a head football coach in high school. Honestly, when I had Coach Tiernan in high school, my sophomore year, I was just telling this story to somebody else the other day, I forget, but he asked us, he would always have a speed day or like an off PE day where we would do some agilities and stuff, and then we'd kind of talk about things. And he asked everybody, where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I told him, I said, right where you're at. I was like, I always saw myself, I wanted to be a head football coach. I wanted to be a PE teacher and impact kids the way that he impacted me throughout my life, And so when the opportunity came, Stafford came open, I actually contacted the previous coach in AD, Taylor Bauman, and he's from Northeast Kansas, from where I'm from. He's from Sabetha.
Okay.
And I have family relatives from Sabetha too. But so I knew who he was, and I knew Sabetha kids. I actually played junior college at Highland Community College and had a lot of Sabetha kids on my team and as teammates. And so I got to know Bauman fairly well throughout college. And I just reached out to him and I said, hey, what's the team looking like? Or basically was asking him why he was leaving. But long story short, it worked out. I came here and interviewed, and I loved the community. I mean, the town's great, and I really loved my administrators when I met them. It was just, you could tell they were extremely enthusiastic and wanted to do great things here for not just for kids, but through athletics as well. And so, I don't know, I would say, I always wanted to do it. And the opportunity presented itself, and I applied and got offered the job. And so I said, I'm all in, So great opportunity for me. So
4-0 start. Mitch, tell me about your team. Some guys that have really stepped up here to get you off to a 4-0 start heading into that game Friday night against St. John.
Well, first, I got to say thanks to all the fans and support we have. Like I said, we have a great community. I don't know hardly anybody yet, honestly. I mean, unless I see them throughout the school building, because unfortunately, I don't even live in town. I live in Ellenwood, which is about 30 minutes north, so I drive every day, but hoping to move to town soon. But anyways, I was going to say thanks to all the fans and support of not just fans, but teachers, coaches, especially my assistant coaches. I don't thank them enough. But no, I'm extremely lucky. We have 6 seniors, 5 returning from last year, and I convinced another one to kind of come out for football this year. And like I said, we've just having that upperclassmen leadership of that many seniors on an 8-man team, and we only have 16 total on our team, and 3 managers, so 19 total. But so when you have the experience and leadership like that, it's easy. It makes your job easy to rely on those guys to help you, keep people in line and keep them committed to what we're trying to do. And so I would say the seniors for sure, and I'll just mention some of their names, or all of them, I guess. So we have Ashton Harder on the line. We have we have Josh Hildebrand. We have Dylan Gantz. I think he's a 4-year starter, if I remember right, at quarterback. Colson Minks at receiver, and he's been doing a lot of great. Well, all of them have been doing great things for us, but he's kind of really gotten his chance to break out as a receiver this year, which is awesome. And I know people always joke around about, me being a rushing guy or running the ball a lot, and now we're throwing the ball. It just all comes back to we have great seniors, and we're taking advantage of that. I'm putting them in positions to, kind of carry and lead this team, and so they're doing a great job so far.
Gantz, a 4-year starter. Tell me about, and he's put up some big numbers so far this year in just 4 games. Tell me about Dylan Gantz and the skill set he brings to the field for you, Coach.
Oh, again, you can't say enough about the leadership. All right? Him and Josh Hildebrand for sure are probably more of our vocal leaders. And if something's, breaking down or we make a mistake on the field, we have that next play mentality where we all come together and we say, hey, next play, don't worry about it, And then vice versa. When we do great things, we come together and say, hey, let's do it again. Next play. We got to do it again. You can't just settle for one time and it's over, But, no, he can run the ball. He can throw. He's got a great arm, really good arm strength. And that's something you can't really teach. Especially when they're a senior, muscle memory is all set. So if he can drop back and go through his reads, he can already throw the ball, like I said. But he actually surprises people with his legs, which is another good thing. And we do run the ball with him sometimes. So, but yeah, he's been doing very well so far.
Okay, Coach, St. John and Stafford haven't met that often in football. They've always been in a different classification, and then you get them on Friday night. So just real quick, your thoughts on taking on St. John Friday?
Yeah, I've heard from the community members and some of the former coaches and current coaches that it's kind of a rivalry game, really. But like you said, they don't play a lot in football. I will say I've watched them on film. They're a fairly big team, especially skill position-wise. And they run the ball very hard, and they throw the ball as well. So we really do got to be ready no matter what. And like I said there before, it's a rivalry game. So no matter what, you got to be ready to take on whoever you're playing, right? A rivalry just gets everybody that much more pumped and ready to go and show what they can do. So, no, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a good matchup for us, but it is going to be exciting to see the two towns meet each other for a Friday night when I guess, like I said, or like you said, it hasn't happened in a long time, so I am really excited for it. So,
Mitch, thanks for joining us on the show today. We'll spend a little bit more time with you. Keep winning. We'll have you back on the show, and keep doing what you're doing down there in Stafford. Great job.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much for having me, and thanks. Love to hear you guys on the radio. So thank you a lot.
You bet. Mitch Engelken with us on Sports Day.
This is Barton Community College Athletic Director Trevor Rolfs. The Barton Athletic Department is proud to sponsor Sports Day on KVGB, a show that showcases all of our high school student athletes in Central Kansas, some whom will continue their educational and athletic future with us here at Barton. We're excited about the fall sports season that is now underway and invite you to attend a game or a match and experience the rich tradition of Cougar athletics. For complete schedules and results, visit bartonsports.com.
Welcome back, Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Here we are at the end of the show once again. Look at that timing. Let me put
the show today. It's been fast moving. It's been good.
Fast moving. Cole Reif, he's batting him down. I don't know if he's going to be able to stay in his chair until Friday night. That's good stuff with Jason Lamb on there and yeah, Mitch Engelken. And I probably spent too much time talking about Baileyville and stuff like that, but Baileyville B&B, it's like
they were a powerhouse.
I've got to get up there. I've got to go to Baileyville and drive by the football field because, as he said, I almost can't tell it's a football field anymore. That's too bad. Keep it like Bushton, where you can play on it tomorrow if you wanted to. Don't tell me about lights. They can play an afternoon game.
That would have to be in Bushton, yes.
Play an afternoon game. Okay, tomorrow we're going to talk Great Bend Panther football. Aaron Beck's going to be in. Shelley Duvall, Gerard Welbrock. No Sports Day on Thursday, so that's moving everything up. Talk to you tomorrow.